Hello everybody, this is Refresh and I'm here to bring you a look at Arcane Tinmen's non-glare board game sleeves for tarot size game cards. These sleeves are clear. If you take a look at the back, there is a frame here and it's supposed to let you check to see if your card is correctly sized for this sleeve or vice versa. What I have here is a Century Spice Road card, which is tarot sized at 70 by 120 millimeters, and it looks like it fits within the frame, so that's good. And for an MSRP of $4.99, you will get 50 of these sleeves, making the average cost of the sleeve about 10 cents per sleeve. This makes the Arcane Tinmen non-glare board game card sleeves for cards of this size one of the most expensive sleeves that you can purchase for cards of this size. And so we have to figure out whether that cost is borne out by the product that we're getting. Let's go ahead and take a look at what's inside. Here are our sleeves. As you can see, they are smooth and matte on both sides. And now let's see if there are 50 sleeves here. That is exactly 50 sleeves. Now let's check the thickness of the sleeves. 50 sleeves comes in at 8 millimeters, which means that each sleeve is 160 microns thick, or 80 microns each face. Now to check the dimensions. These sleeves are 72 millimeters wide by 124 millimeters tall. Now let's check to see how our card fits. Looks like the card fits pretty well. There's only a little bit of room on the sides, and there's about a 1.5 millimeters, it looks like, at the top edge of the card, but it's not obscene. And as you can see, the matte finish does dull the card's art just a little, if you can compare like this, but it also does a good job of diffusing the glare that often appears on bright card sleeves like this. Now it's time for the sleeving test. I'm going to sleeve 45 of these Century Spice Road cards in 45 of these sleeves and see how long it takes. Ready, set, go. Alright. That took 1 minute and 57 seconds, and that is an approximate speed of about 2.6 seconds per card sleeved. And right now I can see that this sleeve in particular has some major warping issues on the back. It looks like this particular sleeve had some sort of distress out of the production line, and none of the other sleeves have this issue, so this is actually quite bad. I'm going to replace this sleeve right now, but it does appear that you will be short one good sleeve as a result of that. I suppose you can put it on the face of the sleeve, and then you only really see it, but it looks pretty bad, so I don't like this at all. The actual sleeving process was quite good, and I felt like it was pretty fast. I didn't really experience any issues at all putting the cards into the sleeves. They slid in nice and easy and smooth, and so aside from finding one sleeve that has some major defect, I found that the sleeving process was quite wonderful for these sleeves. Now that I have sleeved these cards, let's go ahead and take a look at their uniformity and consistency out of the package. The first thing to note is that the tops are pretty consistent. I can only sense the most minor of deviations in terms of the height of the sleeves, and the same holds true for the widths. There is very little noticeable deviation. Consistency is dinged, of course, by this one really ugly sleeve that has this press or crease or something in the face of the sleeve. It is 1 out of 50 sleeves that I've noticed this for so far, but that is a glaring flaw with sleeves that are this expensive. You would really hope that you're going to be getting a quality product, and that is questionable right now. But other than that, I didn't notice any problems with any of the other sleeves, and so it could be an outlier, but it is something that you will want to keep in mind as you consider which sleeves that you want to purchase. Next is shuffle test. I'm going to shuffle these sleeved cards 100 times and see how long it takes. Ready, set, go. Alright, that took 2 minutes and 27 seconds to shuffle these 100 times. And that is an admirable speed of 1.47 seconds per shuffle. Honestly, the sleeves slid into each other like a knife through hot butter. There is basically no resistance, no bounce with the edges of the sleeves hitting each other, and so they just go right in. And you don't even have to fan out your sleeves that much in order to just push the sleeves into each other. So this is one of the smoothest, most luxurious shuffling experiences that I have experienced with board game sleeves. And I'm very impressed with the feel of the cards as you shuffle them into each other in a mass shuffle. It's just incredibly smooth. Now, these cards are a bit on the enormous side, and so if you have smaller hands like mine, then you're going to feel a little bit of strain as you try to mass shuffle these like this, and so perhaps you'll be more inclined to do a riffle shuffle, like a side shuffle like this. I don't know if this is going to be as good or as effective, but it does look like you can do it with these sleeves as well. Whoa! The one thing that should be noted is that these sleeves are pretty slick, and so as you handle the sleeves, if you don't have a good grip on them as you handle them, there's a chance that they might go flying like you just saw them do. Now that I have handled these sleeves a bit, let's go ahead and take a look to see how much wear these sleeves endure. Alright, now these sleeves are a little bit thinner than the 100 micron thick sleeves, and so I do imagine that they're going to be slightly more vulnerable to wear, and that does turn out to be the case. Now there is no scuffing of the sleeve surfaces, and none of the seams have busted, so that is a positive thing. One of the most common bits of wear that I can already tell from handling these sleeves is that some of the corners are quite bent, and you can see that over time that's going to be more and more the case as you handle these sleeves. So there is a chance that you're going to end up with pretty heavily bent corners as you handle these sleeves quite a bit, and that is probably the biggest type of wear that you're going to see on these sleeves for the most part. On top of that, I did notice some mild creases or dents on a few of the sleeves, but not too many of them, and so I do think that it's possible that over time you're going to end up with more dents and creases on your sleeves as you handle them as well. This means that this is not the most durable of sleeves in terms of their aesthetic quality, and I do think that these corners bending over time will make the shuffling process get a little bit harder as well, but that is the type of wear that you might expect from slightly thinner sleeves like this. So these are not the greatest durability sleeves, but they haven't failed at all either. So it's not the worst, but it's also not the best. It is time for the shake test. I have stacked these sleeved cards into a deck, and now I'm going to shake the table that they're on for a couple seconds to see how well the deck holds up. Ready, set, go. Alright, it held up fine. Now, you might expect that sleeves that are this slick wouldn't hold up at all when stacked into a deck, but it barely budged at all. And again, part of that is probably due to the general size of these cards, but it is also quite impressive that the deck didn't even start to waver at all. Now we're going to do the draw test. I'll draw 3 cards off the top and see how well the deck holds up. Ready, set, go. Yep. No problem. I mean, every once in a while a card will slide a little bit as you pull another card, but it's just one card that seems to slide, and so I think that these sleeves are going to handle just fine in terms of their general play patterns. Finally, the card box that the sleeves come in also doubles as a card box and stand for your sleeves, and so you can put this like this, stick a sleeve deck in here, and then draw your cards from this as well. And this will never fall, although I don't know how much you really need this, but it is a nice bonus as well. But the big question is this product actually worth its premium price of 10 cents per sleeve? And that's something that I'm not entirely certain about because of this issue in particular with the one sleeve that came out with a major defect, and you don't expect that out of your premium priced products, and so that is one of my major concerns. The other concern that I have is that these sleeves do take a beating in terms of their corners especially, and that means that their long-term durability is potentially suspect, and so I do appreciate that these are non-glare sleeves, and so they are pretty much going to be your only choice if you prefer the matte finish as opposed to the glossy finish. But at the same time, if that is not your biggest concern, and you are more concerned about matters of long-term durability, and with corners that keep getting bent like this, that means over time it's going to get harder and harder to grip these sleeves and push them into each other. Right now it's buttery smooth, but will that be the case after you've been shuffling these sleeved cards thousands of times as opposed to just hundreds? I don't 100% know the answer to that question. So if you want non-glare sleeves, I mean, these are your only choice, and they're pretty good for what they are. They handle wonderfully, and that is probably their strongest asset, in addition to the fact that they are non-glare, and they are pretty consistent out of the package, minus this, one major aberration. And you do get a bonus holder of sorts, so that's another thing as well. But at the same time, the premium price is a little bit dinged by the fact that these sleeves are possibly not as durable as other thicker sleeves, and also, because of this major defect that you get right out of the package. The Arcane Tinmen non-glares have almost always been very highly regarded by me, but in this particular case, because of this errant sleeve, and also just because I am concerned a little bit about the long-term durability of these sleeves, I don't know if I can say that they are your best premium product, but they are your best choice if you want non-glare sleeves, because they're your only choice. Let me know if this video was helpful to you. If you have any thoughts, you can post those in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, hit the like button. If you'd like to see more such videos, hit subscribe. I have surveys in the description box below if you want to click on those and share your experiences with these sleeves or any other sleeves of this size. You can also do so, and that will be available at the Init Games' resource page. Thanks for watching. This was Refresh, and I will see you next time.